What's up, everyone? I'm Co Connolly, and if you didn't know, I am a horror author of right now 3 published titles. Uh, Friendly Misfortune is a lone title, and then I have the Affair series. We got Forbidden Affair, Family Affair, and as an announcement, Fundamental Affair is done. It was submitted to the publisher and the copyright, and all of that has been taken care of. Release date is Friday, March 13th. Here it is! Book 3 in the Affair series is done. Book 4 is being edited now. So excited. So, and yes, I'm sitting on my couch because I am relaxing because I finished my book. So I get to relax a little bit. And yes, my elbows are weird. So, just figured I'd let you know. Fundamental Affair is finished. It's done. Whoo! I'm trying to relax a little bit because getting down to the nitty gritty, getting the cover done, getting everything out there, I was just glad that my editor got it back to me as soon as she did, and we got it taken care of, and I was shocked when it came back. And now, of course, she had 39 different things. Well, no, there was more, because there were some little nitpicky, like, typos and stuff like that, where a word was missing an S, or some word was misspelled. But sometimes, like, I had something on there, like, being on the straight and narrow. And for some reason, because of the line, I guess, my computer kept trying to change the word straight and how it was spelled. It wanted to spell it Strait, rather than Stright. So my computer kept spelling that word wrong. Now, I had fixed it when it came back from my beta readers because it had done that. But apparently I didn't notice that when I had gone back through and made my changes for my beta readers, that it had reverted it back. So, of course, my editor sends it back to me and says, hello, this is not right. And I'm going, why does it say that again? So my computer had changed it. I had to change it back. I changed it back and got it to the point to where it wouldn't change it again. Like, I had to go into the settings and stuff. I don't know what it is about a Mac and Pages and why it felt the need to do that. I don't know if the Apple guy is just like, hey, whatever. I don't know. So there were little bitty things here and there, but there were 39 changes that I actually had to go back in and redo, because when I got it back from my beta readers, I had several of them telling me, because she's in Fundamental Affairs, she's in the foster care system. Now, there were a few of them where it seemed like they didn't really care for the order of the foster homes that she was going in, so they had given me like a suggestion of swapping the order so that by the time she got to this specific foster home, there was, a bigger gap. So she was a little older because there's a specific incident that happens, and it was more of a, it was one of those things. So I was like, okay, well, I had to sit there and I had to move things around. So I'm taking them from these chapters down here, and here's the incident, and I'm moving it this way. So of course I'm having to rewrite a lot of it to make sure that it flows better. That was a thing all in itself. Oh my god, I have a bruise on my elbow. Okay, I'm gonna keep my arm down then. But I was having to, rewrite some things to make sure that it was flowing together correctly, because, the chapters and stuff like that had to be, changed out too because I was taking things out and moving it, which was making some chapters longer than others, but not really that it was longer. Like, who cares about how long the chapters are? It was more of there was a certain point, like in the middle of, say, 18 pages, where it was like, okay, this could now be a new chapter, even though it wasn't before, but it also wasn't 18 pages before. So I was having to shift and change my chapter headers, and, making sure that things were flowing. Well, apparently I'd missed one. I had missed a part in the book where there was a line that is said, but because that entire situation had been moved, why that line was left in that particular section, it didn't make any sense. So of course I'm sitting there going, I'm like, oh shit. I didn't notice it. Hadn't noticed the whole thing. I'm like, so I was glad that it went to my editor, because otherwise I would have been screwed and it would have gone out that way. And it was like a hideous mistake. Let me put it that way. It was probably the worst things that could have ever happened. And if it went out that way and it was published that way, I'm telling you, this is why edits are so important. Because I'm not going to lie, I went through edits where I had a printed copy and my highlighters, and I had my computer reading it to me, and I never even noticed that that hideous mistake was in there. And my editor was doing line edits to check everything. But there were also paragraphs that she said that needed to be reworded because they didn't quite flow with the story at all. 39. And that was all that came through from her. And I was, first of all, I was surprised that there were 39. But I wasn't, if that makes sense. At least every chapter had some kind of typo. And if it didn't have a typo, then it had a paragraph that needed to be reworded for flow. But taken care of, got all done, finished it off. It's out. It's gone. It's gone to the publisher. The cover got finished. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog coughing. She licks a lot of hair, so she gets it caught in her throat. And yeah, it's kind of gross, but she does it all the time. So, Fundamental Affair publication date is Friday, March 13th. And the fact that I'm actually getting it out on Friday the 13th, it's on time. It's on time for my 2020 deadlines. And I'm excited for that, because there's one more Friday the 13th this year, because I noticed there were two. So there's one more Friday the 13th. And I haven't decided whether or not I want to release Fruitful Affair on that Friday the 13th, because I have a feeling it's in like November, or just release Fruitful Affair once it's done. Either way, it could go either way. I'm just saying. If it's done before that, cool. I'm hoping to have the entire box set ready for, the Scary Dads in October. If I don't have it done for Scary Dads in October, no big deal. I'm pretty sure the Friday the 13th is in November. It might be December, but that would be worse. Either way. So now I'm not at that point where I'm writing Killer Suburbia in the morning, editing some of Fruitful Affair, and then editing Fundamental Affair. And that was like my entire day. And I went back and forth, and I was doing all of this all day long. And I took a break to eat. Sometimes there were other times where all I did was turn around, grab me a bag of chips, and just keep going. And I don't mean the little snack bags of chips. No. I'm talking about the big old family size that I would sit there and munch on all day long. And then by the time it was over, it was empty, and it was a brand new bag when I opened it. But, I feel like I can relax. Now, I'm trying to figure out, I will tell you that today is Thursday, March 5th. Okay, when I'm filming this. It's Thursday, March 5th. Now, I'm trying to decide whether or not I actually want to cook dinner, or if, because I finished my book, maybe I should get something special for dinner. Have my husband pick something up on his way home. I don't know. But I better figure it out fast because it's almost 5 o'clock. And he gets out of work at 5. So, and I'm leaning on my hair. Oh, speaking of my hair. So I am going to do something with this mess of disaster that I've got going on here. It's too long. I can't deal with it. I mean, I lean on it all the time, and driving is probably not the best time to be leaning on your hair when you can't check your blind spot because now you're pulling your hair. Or, by the way, if the wind is blowing hard enough, I will close it in the damn car door. So let me just say, I'm getting rid of it. I'm cutting it off. It is going to be a little different because I don't want something that just... I gotta be weird, right? Let me be different. I gotta be weird. Like right now I have my hair half up, half down. Just because. So I'm looking to do something crazy. And I don't mean just the color. Like literally I'm talking about the cut is gonna be crazy. I just have to find somebody that I'm comfortable with cutting my hair, because anyone getting near my hair with scissors, I'm not exactly too happy with. Please don't get anywhere near my hair with scissors. You're not cutting my hair. It's literally the one thing that you can screw up and look dumb for a year. So, yeah, this is the reason why this is still here. This is the reason why my hair has been growing for the last 13 years and I haven't had it cut. Pretty sure it's been about 13 years. So, that will change. Not sure when. Maybe I can do it this weekend. Anyway, I feel like I should reward myself for finishing my book. And because Family Affair was released in August of 2019 and Fundamental Affair is being released only a few months later. And no, I cannot do that kind of math in my head. I would actually have to count it on my fingers, and I'm not going to show you that because that would make me look dumb. I'm a writer, not a mathematician, damn it. So, it's only been a few months, and I'm releasing a new book. It can be done, guys. It can be done. And it wasn't even on... Let me put it this way. I was not on track to do a fast release. Or a rapid release, I guess is what it's called. I wasn't on track to do rapid release with these. I just want to get the Affair series done, is my thing. I will tell you this much. Okay, writing is stressful. Especially if you're attempting to publish. Now, if you're just sitting down to write for yourself, cool, whatever, go ahead. But writing, and then the cover, and then publishing, because I am legitimately in charge of everything. The only thing that I am not in charge of is the editing process. I have 2 sets of editors, okay? And I do 3 to 4 edits myself. Because what I end up doing is, now, Killer Suburbia is being done a different way, so I understand that. But the entire Affair series, including Friendly Misfortunes, which is its lone title. But what I did was I hand wrote the whole first draft, okay? Or rough draft, whatever you want to call it. I hand wrote the entire thing in a composition notebook. That's just how it was done. And then I took it from that handwritten and then typed it into a file. Now, on that some end, I did a little bit of editing because sometimes the sentences didn't make sense, or, I was writing so fast that I missed words, or, spelling mistakes, this and that, blah, blah, whatever. Okay, so I was doing some slight editing while I put it into the computer. And then I go through and do what I call paper edits, where I print out the copy and then I go through and I highlight everything. Let me show you what I've got for Fruitful Affair, and I'll show you what I mean by the paper edits. Okay, so this is what I have my paper edits in. So what I do is I print out a copy of the book, And then I go through and I start reading what I have written down. Let's see. I may have to reread that first page. Okay, so this is how this looks. Okay, so I've got some of it highlighted. It is color-coded, and then, of course, I've got my notes and stuff. Like right here, this one says reword, and I'm not going to read the rest of it because, oh, it just says reword this. It sounds like two incomplete sentences run on together. That just means that, you know, I wasn't paying enough attention to what I was doing. So, and then, of course, the blue, it just says add more here, including some dialogue. And then, of course, you know, I just dropped my phone. So, but then, of course, I've got this. Okay, this needs a shit ton of extra info. I didn't even bother highlighting it. Like, legitimately, I was just like, this is not... It's a brain dump is basically what my first draft is. My first draft is a complete and total brain dump. I just go, and there's my book. So that's why I have to go through this. Now, technically, this is not an editing session. I don't technically call this editing. Technically, I call this my first rewrite. See, and then, like, this one here. Ooh. It says make. The word's supposed to be made. It's legitimately a stupid typo. Okay, now, like here where it's pink and it just says a drunk couple, I highlight pink because that means that there's character development that needs to happen right there, which means I have to develop those characters. Who are those people? Who is the drunk couple? Who are they? There needs to be more here. You know what I'm saying. You get it. So, anyway, this is technically my first round of rewrites. And I also do this. You can see, like, the yellow highlights and how many times I said the I in that paragraph. I'm like, oh, hell no. This entire paragraph needs to be rewritten. So this is how I'm doing here, and I will show you. This is all I have. Ooh, can I get it in there? Yeah, these. There we go. These few pages right here, this is all that I have left of my first round of rewrites on Fruitful Affair. So you can see I've been working on it this year, and I didn't start on this until January. So January was when I first started on the first round. That bruise, good grief. So January was when I started with the first round of edits for Fruitful Affair, and it was specific because I wanted Fundamental Affair to already be done, so I figure I can start my first round of rewrites in January on Fruitful Affair, but apparently, you know, it didn't work out the same way I wanted it to, but that's okay. It's going to get done by the end of this quarter exactly the way that I want it. But I can tell you this much, though. The first book of Killer Suburbia is on track to be completed at the end of this month. And that's only because the last week in March, I will write well into the night, even if that means I'm up until 2 a.m. to finish it. But I am on track. I've got it taken care of. I've actually hit I want to say the climax, and then I'll hit the come down. My books are, let me put it this way, I'm a little different when it comes to things because sometimes the old school way is not the right way, and when it comes to writing, break the rules. I even have a book that I just recently purchased about that too. And I think it's called Story Beyond Structure or something like that, writing the perfect story while breaking the rules. So I like to make up my own rules when it comes to writing. So like my books are generally like a hill, and at the beginning you're climbing that hill, and then once you get to the top of the hill, you'll know you're there. And then from there all the way to the ending, you are just sliding down on the hill, bare butt, getting muddy, just all the way down. And then you're going to slam into You just slam right into the end and you go, what? I don't. I like to be different. I like things to be artistic. Everything is just, it's got to have a flow though. And I feel like the hill just has a flow. You're going straight up and then you're coming straight down. It's a roller coaster ride, man. I don't know what I'm saying. It's late. I've been working. I don't know. It's not late. It's like barely 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But I've been up since early this morning. I've been working on Fundamental Affair, getting it finished, submitting it to copyright, submitting it to my publisher, making sure that that stupid synopsis on the back of the book. Oh, that is. I'm sorry. I don't know who said. Why do you say that writing a book is hard? It's not even just the writing the book, it's a stupid synopsis on the back. I'm not good with short stories. I feel like there should be more details. And that's why I have 2 beta readers that I send that to. And I go, is this okay? Or does it need more? And I do that because they know that I have a problem with short stories. I've had conversations with my betas, so they know how difficult things are for me. I have problems with short stories. I have them tell me whether or not. And it was literally, I think, my 4th attempt at the synopsis before one of my beta readers was like, that's perfect. That's awesome. I would buy it based on just that. And I'm like, oh, awesome. The other one was like, yeah, that's okay. And I'm like, is it okay? Like, okay, I need to change something. Do I need to add something? Like, no, you don't need to add anything. And I'm like, I feel like it needs something else. And they're like, no, it doesn't need anything else. And then he started saying it's just kind of vague. And I'm like, that's what I said. I think it needs something else. But sometimes he can be helpful and sometimes he can be insightful and sometimes he can just be, it's okay. That's why I use him though, because sometimes he's just, it's okay. I'm telling you, the beta readers that I have are brutally honest and I literally need that. I have one beta reader that will find all the little nitpicky mistakes because that's just what he does. Thanks for that. I've got one of them that will actually tell me when an entire page is completely boring and can't stand it. I've got another one who's just going to be like, does this really go with that story? I don't know if this really goes or if you're just using filler content. You know, this is why I like having the different beta readers that I have. I've got another one where she will go all English teacher off on me and it's like, well, that's what hurts, and that's what hurts. It's like, now, I do have to take their suggestions with a grain of salt. Now, if more than one person tells me something, I will seriously consider it a little bit more, if that makes sense. So, anyway, Fundamental Affair is done. Fundamental Affair is gone. Fundamental Affair will be released Friday the 13th. By the way, I will tell you, if you need any type of trigger warning for any reason at all, please just read the back synopsis. I put it all out there. I laid it all out. So if you have any kind of trigger warning of any kind, because if you haven't seen that video, you might want to go watch my trigger warnings video. But if there are any kind of trigger warnings that need to be said, I made sure to put it all out on the synopsis on the back to make sure that everybody understands and I don't hurt anybody's feelings when you get into it. You're already going to know when you pick up the book. If you don't like it, don't read it. I don't care. It ain't going to hurt my feelings. I grew up in a time where shit don't hurt nobody's feelings and nobody's offended by shit unless you're racist and then you're just a fucking asshole. But that's how that works out. Anyway, that's it. I'm done. I'm gonna just sit here and watch YouTube and do nothing for the rest of the day because I finished my book. Okay, bye.